Hello everyone and welcome back to another X-Men on my Sub 18 video. This is the day before Thanksgiving, and as you know, this is another sports update video. So, I forget the last time I did it. Let me check. I don't know what was going on in sports at the time. It was 4 weeks ago, 10/23. So October 23rd was the last video I did. So, alright. So let's get into it. Voice crack. So, this is getting close. Oh my god! This is getting closer to the times where, sports are getting closer. It's getting closer to the end of the season. It's where you get to see who's bad, who's good. Especially like in college football and football. But let's start out with the NBA, because still that one's technically the newest, I guess you could say. Still, like, a lot of games have been played, but in basketball. So right now the playoffs would be in the Eastern Conference. It would be the Nets, Heat, Bulls, Wizards, Hornets, Knicks, and then the play-in tournament would be Celtics, Bucks, Philly, and the Cavs, and then the Hawks are actually looking in. Western Conference, obviously the Warriors are dominating everyone. It goes Warriors, Suns, Jazz, Mavs, Clippers, Portland, and then you got in the play-in tournament Grizzlies, Nuggets, Lakers, Minnesota, which is my team, who are definitely on the rise and on a 4-game win streak. So hopefully they can continue that. The Rockets have won one game, so they're in playoff contention. They're one in. They've lost. They're on a 15-game losing streak. That's impressive. Suns are on a 13-game winning streak, so that's less impressive. But I think it's safe to say some teams that you just know are going to suck this year, of course, are like the Pistons, the Pelicans, the Rockets, the Magic, and the Spurs. They all suck. They have no chance, and I think the rest. Realistically, I think the Western Conference, every team that's in the playoffs right now, is how it's going to be. I think maybe the seeds change, but I think it's going to be the exact same as it is. The one thing I will say, I'm trying to keep up with the NBA, but I'm not sure he's injured right now. I know the Lakers are having some problems. I know LeBron James cut Isaiah Stewart across the face, and there's a huge fight that broke out during that game, which is just god awful. Although for the Eastern Conference, I do got to say, I think the playoffs will flip around a little. I don't think the Wizards are going to stay in the 4 spot forever. I think the Hawks will sneak into the playoffs. I think the Pacers will sneak into the playoffs. Although I don't, if Klay Thompson comes back soon, I don't think there's any stopping the Warriors. I think it's definitely Curry's MVP year, and they'll they'll destroy. I think the Suns aren't being talked about as much, but I think they're definitely a contender again. I think the Jazz will fold in the playoffs. I think if anything, I think the Clippers will be on the rise again in the Western Conference. I don't think the Minnesota Lakers. I don't think like those teams are going to make the finals. I just hope Minnesota makes the playoffs for God's sakes. Eastern Conference, don't count the Bucks out just because the record's not the best right now. Just wait. Don't count out Philly, even though I don't think they're not going to make it this year. But it's like the Heat, Nets, and Milwaukee, and even the Bulls. The Bulls are looking pretty nice. They have some of the best chemistry in the league, at least of what I've seen. Other than obviously like some of the like the Warriors. The Warriors are on a roll. Yeah, I think the NBA, there's still a lot up for grabs. Just like the next topic we're gonna talk about, them NHL. But let's make predictions. This is Wednesday night, November 24th. A lot of games tonight. I'm gonna make my predictions because why not? Why not? I think that's entertaining in some way. um, Start off with the 7 o'clock games. You got Suns, Cavs, Lakers, Pacers, Hornets, Magic. I'm gonna take the Suns over the Cavs. Continue their 13-game winning streak. Give me the Pacers over the Lakers. I don't know. I just can't trust the Lakers. I know I think LeBron's still suspended, but anyway, still give me the Pacers. Hornets, Magic. Now, for some reason in my head, I'm thinking the Magic are gonna win this game for some reason, but I'm gonna go Hornets. I think the Hornets are one of the most entertaining teams in the league just because of their announcer and all. Like, I swear to God, they dunk like 5 times every game. All the highlights, man. Nets, Celtics. You know what? Give me the Celtics, the underdog in this game. I guess you could say, and they are. I mean, it's the Nets, but I don't know. I feel like big night from Tatum. Um, don't mind MMG in the background. So Bulls Rockets. If the Bulls don't win, the Rockets are gonna end their 15-game losing streak. That's really sad. Raptors Grizzlies. Don't don't blink. John Morant is just he's amazing. I'm not gonna lie. Give him 2 years, and he'll be taking over the league. Pistons, Bucks, Heat, Timberwolves. The Heat are probably gonna win, but the Timberwolves got momentum right now, man. If they stay healthy, they could be kind of dangerous, not winning the finals. But Miami Timberwolves, that should be a pretty good game. I hope it is. Even if the Timberwolves lose, I just hope it's a good competitive game. But I'm gonna take the Timberwolves because I want them to win. That's totally being biased, but who cares? Wizards, Pelicans. You know what? Pelicans. I don't know if I can still trust the Wizards. The Wizards are like, they should not be as good as they are. I don't expect them staying on that pedestal they're on right now. So I'm gonna say give me Pelicans for some. Just watch me be correct. Jazz, Thunder, another upset. Thunder, cause why not? Um, Donovan Mitchell can't do it all. Rudy Gobert. I think it's funny. I feel like nobody remembers Rudy Gobert is such a bad person about COVID. I almost said a bad word, but he's the one that started spreading it around in the NBA. Hawks, Spurs, Hawks. Spurs lose DeRozan, and now they're on not DeRozan. They're bad. um, 76ers, Warriors by 50,000 because screw the 76ers. Trailblazers, Kings, that's going to be a crap show. Give me the Blade. Nah, give me the Kings. Give me the Kings. Just screw the Blazers. Let's talk about the NHL. This is one of the ones, other than probably the NFL right now, that I know the most about. A lot of games tonight. A lot of games. Some very, very entertaining games. It's starting to get to that point where maybe you can start making predictions about how the season's gonna go. Yeah, the season. It's gonna be interesting because 80 games back in the season. It's not 56. The most games that has been played by teams is like 20. So it's a fourth of what's gonna be played. So hopefully you can start to judge, but I still think you can't. I think you can make predictions on what's gonna happen. I think you can tell that some teams are on the rise. I think the season's gonna shock a lot of people too. But just an example, do you think the Blackhawks are really gonna be at the bottom of the division forever? I don't think so. I think they'll slowly get better. They should be able to sneak into the playoffs. Let's start in the Eastern Conference. So the Atlantic Division, Florida's on top, of course. Then Toronto, then Tampa, then Detroit, and then Boston. But Boston's only played 15 games. I know I'm saying a lot. Leave me alone. But Boston's played the least amount. So they're sitting pretty. I would say 18 points. They've played 5 less games than Detroit, and they're only one behind. And of course, Boston's gonna make the playoffs until I say Bergeron or Marchand is gone. But Florida's making the playoffs, Toronto's making the playoffs, Tampa's making the playoffs, Boston's making the playoffs. It's not going to change. Detroit, Buffalo, Montreal, and Ottawa will be good in a few years. But right now, it's still the Florida, Toronto, Tampa, Boston. And I don't think anyone's going to stop them until give like a team like Ottawa 3 years. Same with like Detroit. And I could see like the better their young guns get, the more talent they're going to start to receive in free agency and trades, because people are going to want to go there. Metropolitan, you got Carolina on top, then Washington, then the Rangers, then Columbus, then Pittsburgh, then New Jersey, then Philly, then the Islanders. And oh my god, I think we're getting close. I know they've only played 15 games, but it's getting close to say the Islanders suck. I think I think it's starting to get pretty close where you can just say that without a bunch of people saying, just wait. No, I still think they can turn their season around. The Columbus is definitely on the rise. Holy crap, 16 games, 20 points. It's better than the last few seasons for them. I think people started to overrate Philly again, and they're starting to trend back down. But the Metropolitan's always the craziest division every year. You can debate a few divisions, but it's the Metropolitan, especially with Carolina doing well now. It's not just always Penguins, Washington, and then Philly. But I say it's gonna be. I don't know if Columbus can hold this pace up for long, so I'd say it's probably just gonna be Pens, Rangers, Washington, Carolina. So 4 entertaining teams. I'm not mad about that. Maybe Columbus, maybe even New Jersey's on the rise, but maybe Columbus sneaks in there. I don't see it. I just see it being the leaders of the division for the past few years. I think the Islanders need to get their stuff together if they want to even be talked about. Although they have not had many home games. They've only had 2 home games in their own 2. Florida's undefeated at home. Just 10-0. That's actually pretty impressive. Next division would be the Centrale. Minnesota on top. St. Louis, Winnipeg, Nashville, then Colorado, then Dallas, Blackhawks, Arizona. Arizona is on the rise with their 4 wins. They were at 1 like a week ago, so good for them. But they don't look too bad. Like the Central, it looks good and bad at the same time. Like they haven't played a ton of games, but this division's gonna flip around. I don't think Minnesota is gonna be able to hold that top spot forever. I think obviously Colorado is gonna start climbing up the ranks soon. They're on a 5-game winning streak. I think possibly the largest in the NHL. Nashville is going to start coming down. And I mean, Colorado's only played 15 games, which is the least in the division. And they're probably the most talented team. But don't count out Minnesota. It's, if anything, like this is a hard division too. But could I see things flip around? Is there a chance like a team like St. Louis or Winnipeg doesn't make the playoffs? Because I like Chicago or even Dallas. Don't underestimate Dallas. Dallas always overestimate them or underestimate them, and this year they're coming underestimated. Last year they were overestimated. It's a thing of beauty. So I see it being like Minnesota, Colorado, Dallas, Chicago, St. Louis. It's so hard to decide. Like get up to 40 games or more, and then I can start deciding. But right now, it's kind of hard to say this team's making the playoffs, no doubt. Because who knows? Maybe Minnesota folds under pressure. They are kind of young. Um, they've only been good for like a year and a half. So who says they don't fall apart? Pacific Division, I think it's safe to say, like 20 games played, I think it's safe to say Calgary, as long as they don't fold under pressure, is very good. Good enough to go all the way? No. Um, Playoffs? Yes. Edmonton? Playoffs? Yes. Cup? No. Vegas? Has to start catching up. You got teams like Anaheim ahead of you, and Anaheim's not making the playoffs. Let's be honest here; they're gonna fold. They don't last. Troy Terry can't turn into the next Connor McDavid forever. Vegas, Vegas will probably get their crap together. Everyone hates them because they're good at doing that. Then they'll make the playoffs. Cup, possibly they're gonna have to get Eichel. San Jose, I can't judge yet. They're similar to like the Dallas. I don't know how to feel because I feel like they've had the same team for the past like 3 years, and they either do really good or really bad. I think they have the talent to make the playoffs, not to go far. But Vancouver has the talent to make the playoffs and do decent in them, but they can't get there. Their minus 16 goal differential is not helping their case. That's what I feel like with like Chicago. Minus 21 goal differential, that's not where you want to be. You want to be where Calgary is, where your goaltending is so good that your differential is plus 30. Like, that's insane for 20 games played, too. You're telling me they really have not lost like by a big margin. That's another thing that shows. Their goaltending tandem is so good. Markstrom and Vladar, I believe it is very good. And if they can keep that up, I think they're maybe not a contender. I'm not going to call them a contender. Um, but I'll tell you right now, they could be something you don't want to mess with. Edmonton, I believe Tron Tortorella was the one that kind of said my thoughts on McDavid. He has to change his play style. He's going to put up stats every year. Is he going to win a cup playing how he is? Heck no. Connor McDavid is a stat guy, not a guy that can lead his team to the playoffs, and I'm not afraid to say that. I think I think to be the best player in the league is one thing, but if you want to be the best player in the game, you have to be able to lead your team. Therefore, I say you can't you can't go wrong with saying the best player in the league is someone like Crosby or Kucherov because they've been able to help their team win a cup or two. Okay, like Kucherov, 2 cups back to back. Were they in the bubble? Yes. McDavid he doesn't have the star power that Kucherov has like around him, but he doesn't have the leadership and he's the worst two-way player in the league. That's where Crosby, Bergeron, like players that have led their teams deep in the playoffs, have done. You got to have two-way players on your team. You can't have a Connor McDavid who may put up 4, but they're gonna score 4 when he's out there. It's just so crappy, and he's gonna win the Hart every year, but he's never gonna hold the Stanley Cup. And I don't think he will unless he changes something. I'm not saying change everything. I'm not saying him scoring all these goals and getting assists is bad, but I'm also saying if you're going to do that, you also have to play defense too. 2 teams I didn't mention in this division were LA and Seattle. It's because I have no opinion on them. Seattle is not the next Vegas. I don't think their chemistry is nearly as good as Vegas, obviously. And they're not going to do anything this year. LA is in the works. I'm not sure if they're going young or staying old. It's hard to tell. But yeah. Anaheim's shocking me. Like, they're good and they're bad. And I can't tell, like, where they're going to be because they've been bad for these years. But maybe I'm just basing it off the last years. Maybe they'll be decent this year. I don't know. Can Getzlav still be decent? I don't know. Yeah, and there's a few games tonight, Wednesday. Canucks, Pens, Ducks, Avalanche, Bruins, Sabres, Flyers, Panthers, Wild, Devils, Canadians, Caps, Jets, Blue Jackets, Blues, Red Wings, Rangers, Islanders, Golden Knights, Predators, Oilers, Coyotes, Maple Leafs, Kings, Hurricanes, Kraken, Senators, Sharks. So, let's make predictions on these. Canucks, Pens, give me the Pens. They've been on a 3-game winning streak in Canada. Now they're back home tonight, night before Thanksgiving. See this going well for the Pens. Canucks need to get their crap together though. But as a Penguin fan, because I'm from Pittsburgh, we don't have a basketball team. That's why I root for the Timberwolves. Don't ask why. But Penguins looking good lately. Hopefully they can keep that pace up. Jari has been playing very well lately. Past 3 games, only 1 goal, 2 shutouts. So, give me the give me the Pens. Give me the Pens. I could see them just playing how they are, outworking Vancouver, just playing overall better than them. Ducks, Avs. Avs are on the rise, making the rankings. They've always been good, but I'm just saying, started off the season kind of slow, but I don't see the Ducks keeping up with their scoring, even if Gibson's in net. If Gibson's in net, maybe it'll be tougher for the Avalanche. I think Gibson's possibly the best goalie in the league. He just doesn't have star power like some of the best goalies have, like Vazzy. No, geez. Vasilevsky, even Bobrovsky's playing well this year. He has the Panthers around him, It's kind of hard to tell. Bruins, Sabres, give me Bruins. Because it's the Sabres. Flyers, Panthers. I think the Flyers are another team that's going down, and the Panthers are really good. Wild, Devils. Give me the Devils. I just feel like the Devils are underrated, young. Who knows? Maybe they can outscore Wild. I could see it happening. I don't think it's out of the blue. Canadians, Caps. The Canadians suck big butt this year. Jets, Blue Jackets, Jets. Jets are on a 3-game losing streak. I feel like they could fix it by beating a smaller team, like the Blue Jackets. I think the Blue Jackets are decent, but I think the Jets can just outscore them. I think the Blue Jackets will give them a game. I think if Elvis is in net, maybe he got some competition, but I don't think he is. I think it's Korpisalo. I still think Korpisalo is good, but I think the Jets are still going to win this game. Blues, Red Wings. Red Wings. I don't know. They got the young team. The Blues got more of the veteran team, so it should be a good game. The Red Wings are on a bit of a losing streak, just like I said with the Jets, so maybe they can flip it here. Rangers, Islanders, Rangers. I've already been over. I think the Islanders suck this year, and I don't think that's going to change against a young, good Rangers team. Golden Knights, Predators. Another thing I said before, the Predators, I don't think they're going to stay in their spot forever. I think the Knights have to start rising up, and I think this is another night where this starts flipping. Oilers, Coyotes, Oilers. McDavid's going to put up 8 points. Especially because he just put up a no-point game the other night. And now he's facing the worst team in the league, so that should be good. Maple Leafs, Kings. Maple Leafs, the Kings. The Maple Leafs are just going to outscore them, outwork them, outbeat them. Hurricanes, Kraken. Hurricanes have been on top too long. A little crappy, sneaky team like the Kraken can sneak in to take a short win from them. Senator Sharks. I mean, the Senators are bad too. I think they'll be good in a few years. Like, to give them 3 or 4 years, I know that's a while, but they will be really good. Sharks are still decent no matter what. So I'll take them. Just real quick, the NCAA football, it's getting close to the end there. Last week, well, for some teams, then it starts becoming like bowls, championship games, stuff like that. It's like the last regular week, at least in my opinion. You can call it a regular week. College football rankings. Let me see. It goes Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, Cincinnati, Michigan, Notre Dame, Oklahoma State, who still shocks me that they've been this good this year, Baylor, Ole Miss, who I think their quarterback is overrated. Oklahoma shocked me. They made it this far with their quarterback problems. Oregon, another quarterback that's overrated. Michigan State, they always impress us and suck. BYU, I don't know how they're still here. Wisconsin, Texas A&M, Iowa, who was a lot worse than we thought. Pitt, Kenny Pickett for Heisman. Wake Forest, whose defense is like Swiss cheese. Utah, NC State, SDSU, UTSA, who's played no competition and is 11-0. Clemson, who's somehow 8-3 and above Houston, who's 10-1, and Arkansas, who's somehow 7-4 on this list. Clemson, Pitt, either as a Pitt fan, they're either facing Wake Forest or Clemson. I think this week decides that. Pitt plays Syracuse. Hopefully, they just destroy Syracuse. Pickett's a good, and then if Pitt faces Wake Forest or Clemson in the ACC championship game, should be a very good game. Wake Forest has no defense. We've already beat Clemson. Should be pretty entertaining, hopefully. I hope Pitt wins, but that would be too impressive for them, wouldn't it? I don't get my hopes up. The QBs in this draft are going to be real interesting. Who do you even go with, man? Jordan Addison's, I think, also up for like the best wide receiver in the nation, so that's pretty cool. He's really good. Okay, yeah, the quarterback situation in this draft should be interesting. Like, what quarterback goes first, you know? Mississippi State is the team that's now off the rankings. Yeah, so, yeah, we'll see. This week will probably decide, like, bowl games and stuff. Georgia's probably going to go undefeated. They face Georgia Tech. Ohio State versus Michigan is a game to look for. That should be very, very entertaining. I say Ohio State still wins, though. I don't think that's going to change anything. Another, like, a Friday game. Sorry, Friday. Or even Thursday. Ole Miss versus Mississippi State. Mississippi State was just ranked. Now they're not. So, don't underestimate them. North Carolina versus NC State, another game. Don't underestimate North Carolina. They still have a decent quarterback. And NC State is... They're okay. I'm not going to say they're great. Let me see if there's any upset watches. I mean, Alabama, Auburn, it's always entertaining, but Auburn sucks, so Alabama probably will stomp them. You got Oregon State versus Oregon. Oregon's going to win that. Michigan versus Penn State. Who knows? Maybe Michigan State pulls Michigan State. Texas Nope. Texas A&M versus LSU. That should be another interesting game. Oklahoma State. That's a game to look for. Give me Oklahoma. You thought I was going to say Oklahoma State, and I just went Oklahoma. Yeah, that's all I really see. I think after this week, we'll see who is, like, the team and who is, like, maybe you should not be in the position you were. Alright, now the grand finale. LFN, NFL. Thanksgiving's tomorrow. Got 3 games before we get into the standings and stuff. Let's talk about these. Bears, Lions. Oh my god, I'm going to have to watch this game, 12:30. Waking up on Thanksgiving, thinking, oh yeah, we get to watch some football. 12:30 comes around. Uh-oh. We got to watch the Bears versus Lions. Andy Dalton at quarterback. Hopefully Goff is a quarterback, because as we know, the Lions' backups are horrible. And people... like Jared Goff, poor guy is in, like, the worst position, like, anyone could ever be as a quarterback. Like, Matt Stafford's in a bad position, but at least he had like wide receivers to throw to, like Marvin Jones and Kenny Galladay. Goff has Swift, Jamal Williams, and T.J. Hawkinson, and that's his 2 running backs and his tight end. So people should probably, hey, how's it going? Should probably lay off Goff a little. Just want to make sure we're still recording. So you know what? Just because it's Andy Dalton, they have no Allen Robinson. Not like they use him anyway. But Andy Dalton. So quarterback, you got David Montgomery, who could have an amazing freaking game. It's either he has an amazing game or they lose. I think you're going to need David Montgomery to show up or you're going to lose the Lions. I'll be honest. Not afraid to say it. I think the Bears will put up more points than the Steelers and Browns put up on them. But the Browns don't really have an excuse, except Baker Mayfield keeps using the excuse that he's hurt. And if he's hurt and is playing this bad, just like Case Keenum plays, stop making excuses. Either you don't, like, I play deck hockey. And I know I'm not making millions like Mayfield, but if I'm hurt and I think me being hurt is going to ruin my team, I'm going to tell them, I can't play, I'm sorry. But I feel like me playing hurt is going to mess with me and is going to mess with the team. And I don't want to do that, you know? So Baker Mayfield's got to decide what he wants to, if he wants to keep complaining about his injuries or sit down and let Case Keenum go to work. And Case Keenum is taking the Vikings to the conference championship, and he's been a starter in the league. He's a veteran. I don't see a problem with him playing. But anyway, Bears, Lions. Give me the Lions. They get their first actual win because it's Thanksgiving. But, Goff has to play for me to pick the Lions. If Goff doesn't play, I'm picking the Bears. Tim Boyle plays. I'm just rooting for the Bears defense because I have them in fantasy. Raiders, Cowboys. I say Cowboys. I think the Raiders are starting to go back to their normal form. I see maybe the Cowboys coming back up, you know. I know they probably won't have Cooper. No, they won't have Cooper, sorry. They might not have CeeDee Lamb. And if they don't have CeeDee Lamb, it might be a closer game, but still I think Gallup, Cedric Wilson, and still Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, and Dawson Schultz, they can get the job done. I don't think the Raiders are that good. The Raiders wide receiver situation is still something in question. It's been in question for the past few years, but you got to get that situated. But give me the Cowboys. Bills and Saints. Bills. No Kamara. Trevor Siemian's still the quarterback. Like, go out, either play Taysom Hill or try and get like someone off freaking free agency. Like, it's not good. It's just, I would take a quarterback off of free agency, or even if he wanted to bring Phillip Rivers out of retirement. Go out and get someone like, I'll be honest with you, get RG3. I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem with getting someone like RG3 and playing him over Trevor Siemian. But if you are confident in Siemian still, just because he had one shocking win against Tampa, which he almost blew, then you're gonna lose. You're threatening your whole season. Like, the Vikings and San Francisco are knocking on your door saying, hey, how's it going? I'm gonna steal your playoff spot. I think the Vikings already did it. San Fran is up next. But yeah, the Bills by a lot. I think the Saints defense might be able to keep them in it for the first 2 quarters. That's quarters. It's not the whole game. So now let's go to the standings, because I think Josh